Caleb was talking about the machine I had. He said, don't need a log lift when you got a grandson like that.
No. Right? Hardest working guy here right now.
I'm telling you.
Welcome in, guys. Got something I want to show you here. You know, we do all this cutting and stacking and getting all these rounds cut up and ready to go for them. But what happens to it after? Does it just lay there? Do we leave it? Well, guys, as you can see, that little splitter really makes quick work of everything. I know they've got a bunch of hickory in there. Obviously, you can see it's real stringy, giving it a little bit of a struggle. But honestly, that splitter is not bogging down at all when it gets to there. I mean, there's some big knots in there that it's just pushing right through it. I mean, it's pretty amazing. see if we can get a little more information on it once they get finished up. I know there's a big pile of wood there, but as quick as he can load it, they're splitting it and throwing it in this other pile. It definitely makes you feel good when you can see where all that hard work and everything we've been doing out here, getting these rounds cut up and getting trees that have fallen and otherwise would just go to waste and rot away. See where it all ends up. I'll show you the wood sheds here. Looks like he's going to be pretty well off for a while now. But I'll stop talking. Let me get back over here to the splitter and see you guys in a bit. right through it.
Right through it. 4-way. We haven't had to take the 4-way off once. But these are sold in Columbus. There's a dealer in Columbus, Brownwood Sales. And they're made in the USA, made in Vermont. And like I said, this is a professional splitter, but it's the smallest one they make, the TW-1. The TW-2 has a 9-horse engine. This is, I think, a 5.5, 6. I think it's the 5.5, the 160. And the other one, I think, has a 320, the 2. And they go up to a 7. You can get log lifts on them. A TW-2 has, you can get with a log lift. That's what I need now. When I bought this, I was 55 and not 70. So you can see it, they hold up very well.
I was gonna say, for being
the difference between a professional equipment and homeowners equipment.
Right.
You know, a $900 Lowe's splitter or a $4,000 splitter.
Right. Yeah, this definitely puts the
Yeah.
stuff you can find at Tractor Supply and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
these start at $39.95, but like I said, this one's 10, 15 years old, and you see what it'll do.
I mean, even just watching it go through some of that hickory there, where it's hitting a knot.
Well, that's the hickory and the cherry that you guys, that's a shagbark. We did pig nut. That one humongous piece that he picked up, that thing was 20-some inches long. That was pig nut, a real stringy one.
Mm-hmm.
The shagbark splits like the cherry. It gets a nice clean splits. But the ones over there that are all jagged and, you know, you got to hack them loose with an axe. That's your pig nut. That's the 2 that you guys cut up here in the woods.
Yep.
That's, well, everything else you've cut up. As you can see, I brought the best for me up to here is the locust, the shagbark, and the 2 pig nuts that have been dead for a while, because this will be burnt next year. So these trees were all down or dead. Hopefully the cherry, if this doesn't season by next year, it's not like I don't have wood to go to.
Right. And that's I haven't even made it up to that barn yet.
Yeah, that's 60 cords up there. I use about 10 cords a year.
Okay.
With well, 10 for me, and then I sell that up there to the people. I probably use another 4 to 5 cords that I sell to campers in the cabins. That's why we're splitting a little bigger, because this is furnace wood. I have a wood furnace in the house.
Yeah, I know it. Just watching it go through there, it doesn't do anything other than just
it's
keep
impressed
eating.
me. You know, all the people I see, I never see anybody on YouTube using a Timberwolf. They're all using Easton Maids, and I understand Easton Maid is a good professional splitter also, but there's a 1-year backlog. I mean, this guy here, I tried to get a log lift for this, and he said he don't know how, maybe 2-3 years to get me a log lift.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, but I need a log lift. I don't want to get rid of the splitter though, because I absolutely love the splitter. I have to use my grandson as a log lift.
Hey, I don't think there's another better one out
If
there.
I had a log lift, I could do this every day. Without a log lift, I have to wait till my grandson is free. Yeah.
Heck, the way he's working,
he's a worker.
he is earning every penny. I know
The only person that I've ever had to work with me that works as good as him is my brother, who's 60, and my wife, who's 4'11" and 70.
Mm-hmm.
She'll outwork most teenagers, usually 2 to 3 of them.
We can tell which pile she stacked over there in the little shed.
Well, she stacks them all. She don't let me stack. She'll let him stack, and she'll let my granddaughter stack, but she won't let me stack. She says I don't stack pretty. She's been all upset because that fell the other day, and she stacked it, but that was like 9 years ago. What it did, if you look, see where the sun's hitting it right now?
Uh-huh.
It shrunk, and then it leaned to this side.
And just came over.
This side got a lot more sunlight and a lot more wind, and the end pieces shrunk, and it just started to lean. It's like we did in the shed the other day.
Yeah.
That's only 6 months old. That's 6 years old.
That's...
And what it started to do, it started to bulge at the top. and the other day it just fell out. We're going to move that over into that shed, which we're going to burn next year. This is for emergencies. It doesn't get wet under there, so it'll keep forever.
Right.
There's wood under there that's 22 years old.
I can believe it.
In the middle.
I can believe it.
Usually if we'll use the 2 rows on this end, or this side here, or the 2 rows down there. That's about all we use in the winter. I'll leave this place the way I found it. Clean up the messes that nature makes.
Right. Well, I know it's a nice property.
Yeah.
Everything out here, I mean, it's in good shape. And yeah, it's a shame the trees are falling, but I think the ones that are going down, it's probably better that they do, because they're getting dangerous as tall as they are. And
that's the shagbark. They usually don't come down, uproot, like the other ones do. If that one starts to look dangerous, I'll have it taken down. There used to be 2 beside the shelter house. They started to die. I try to keep them trimmed back in such a way. Yeah, I don't know about that big red oak up there. That thing's a monster.
mm-hmm.
There's no way to trim it back. I mean, if it comes down, and hopefully it'll come down the field where it gets the most sun. But if it ever drops a limb, I'll need a new garage.
Yeah, that's
a big tree.
Video's not giving it justice. That's a big tree over there.
Well, if you look at the Jeep sitting there,
right? Looks like a
I'd say that was
matchbox.
A good 4 foot across, probably at the bottom.
Oh, every bit.
Every bit. There's enough wood there to heat my house for maybe a year and a half.
Yeah, maybe.
There's a good 10 cords in that tree. But see, out on the edge, where it's in an open field, it goes out like a bush at the top. Whereas the ones in the woods here, where they were all cut in 55, they all come up like telephone poles. Because they're fighting for the wind. The problem is they're top heavy, and when they get a lot of wind, it pops the roots out of the ground. The shade of that tree to rest under, and they'd keep water there for them.
Oh yeah, yeah.
If you ever, people will think, well, I wonder why that one tree's left out in the middle of that field. Well, that's just a holdover. Now most of the farmers today, those trees are gone.
Yeah.
They're clearing them out. They're clearing out the fence rows, and the fields go from road to road for 5 or 6 miles. In the old days, most fields weren't over 20 acres. That's about all a guy could do in a week or so.
Right.
So we'd break it up into sections, and it was easier to look at. I mean, it's kind of hard to take a team of horses and go for 3 miles straight.
Right.
But they always had one big tree, and of course, since it was out in the field with no competition, it went way out, made a big bush. The limbs were that big around.
Yeah.
Came out 6 feet above the ground. And my wife's grandfather's farm still has 2 of them. There used to be one going to Washington Courthouse over in that one field, but I think they finally took it down. My wife asked one day, I wonder why they left that big tree out in the middle of the field like that.
Yeah, I can remember.
Horses would make it down once and back about a half a time, and they would rest them in the shade. Then they'd go down again, come back, rest them in the shade.
I remember seeing those when I was younger.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
20,
Guys
25
today,
years
these
ago.
farmers today, they're just clearing everything out. They don't leave nothing behind. Oh, it's shading my crops. Well, you know what? Shades a lot of other things too. It's twice this big. Well, you can see what she stacked, and then that. We did probably a third of this last week, Quentin and I, and then we probably doubled it back, everything she stacked and then some.
Oh yeah.
We're hoping, and we're probably going to have more than we think, because we're not going to burn that in this year. So we're hoping to be able to fill these 2 sections in, which that would be 3 cords.
Well, it's definitely here.
Yeah.
I know there's.
Now this is the shagbark tree that you guys cut down the lane with the cherry tree. The cherry tree, I think, is gone, unless that's a piece of cherry there, and that big piece of cherry. So we've got the whole cherry tree split up. The shagbark right there that was beside that cherry tree, we've got about, looks like 6 pieces of it left. And then the locust tree we haven't touched yet. That was up here.
Yeah, that was
the
that
2
one.
pig nuts that were up here. We did 1 or 2 pieces of it. That right there are the 2 trees that were up in there that you cut the first week you were here.
Oh yeah, yep.
And then this is a pig nut that had the toilet seats with it. It was hollow at the bottom, or the shagbark. And the cherry, there's 1 piece over there. And this, that's pig nut. So I think we bought the cherry, it's about done. Oh, there's one up on top there. That cherry was a nice big tree.
Yeah.
Shame it had to be cut into firewood, but it was too far gone for lumber. I love cherry lumber.
Well, like I said in the one video, it is my favorite flavor.
Well, you walk out the back door and it just smells pretty out here. Hickory smells nice, but cherry really smells sweet.
Yeah, hickory makes you hungry.
Well, I like hickory when it's burning. I can drive past and tell when somebody's burning hickory, driving down the road. Oh, there's hickory. It's got just a wonderful smell.
Oh yeah, it does. This really is a nice property out here. Spin around here, I'll let you guys see. Well, look this way so the sun's not in our eyes. It's got rental cabins out here. And actually that one there looks really nice. Right there. You know, come out here, spend a weekend, spend a week, live off the grid, get back in tune with nature. I know a lot of that firewood that we cut, that stuff they're splitting right now. He'll sell it to the renters that come out here. So it doesn't go to waste. It all goes to a good place. But I just can't get over, you know, how nice these are. And if I remember right, his rates are pretty reasonable for where you're at and what you got. Now, I know what you're saying. What do you got? Nothing. You're out in the middle of nowhere. That's the thing. Get out away from it. Bring your family out. Relax. Burn some wood. Maybe the wood I cut. Maybe the wood somebody else cut. Who knows? But get out. Spend some time with the family. Turn the screens off, except for this. Take us with you. You'll be like, hey, that's that one cabin. I want to stay in that one. That's, what cabin is that? Cabin 1. You should stay here. Because look, I put my hand on it. Maybe somebody stay in there and see that. Look at that. Even comes with an AC. Not that you need it right now. I mean, it's pretty warm. But look behind me. Look at that. How pretty all this is. Come on out with the kids. Bring the wife. Spend some time. Unwind. You know. I don't know how else to sell it to you. This is what it's worth, man. Look. Even got a porta potty. Do you really want to be like a bear? You know what I mean. Fire pit. Coleman grill. Down here. Beautiful Hocking Hills. If you know anything about southeastern Ohio or southern Ohio, you know the Hocking Hills are a booming place. A lot of nice little shops. You got Old Man's Caves down here. All kinds of stuff to get into. Come out, spend the weekend, live off the grid, go check out some local shops, and just give back to the local community. It's all worth it, guys. You should try it.
Always loved shagbark. Easy to split. Cherry, I love it. Ash was probably my favorite. Ash and beech to split by hand. But shagbark was right there. Locust splits fantastic. Now, of course, because it grows like a telephone pole usually.
Right.
And they're straight, no knots in them. You don't want to try to split a sycamore by hand. That'll make you cry like a little girl.